Welcome to the Channel for Grace. Jaigobind will be live shortly. Book a tarot or astrology reading on our website, channelforgrace.guru, and check out our latest programs and classes. Please give us a share and a like, and we hope you enjoy the broadcast. Welcome to the Channel for Grace. Jaigobind will be live shortly. Book a tarot or astrology reading on our website, channelforgrace.guru, and check out our latest programs and classes. Please give us a share and a like, and we hope you enjoy the broadcast. Welcome to the Channel for Grace. Jaigobind will be live shortly. Book a tarot or astrology reading on our website, channelforgrace.guru, and check out our latest programs and classes. Please give us a share and a like, and we hope you enjoy the broadcast.
What is going on, you guys? Welcome to this broadcast. My name is Jaigobind, and this is your Channel for Grace. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you for being here live, and also thank you guys that are watching the replay. If you are new to this channel, please subscribe and hit that notification bell so you get notified of when I go live and when I upload videos. And also make sure that you give this video a thumbs up. If you're here in the live chat, all you have to do is just X out of the chat, give it a thumbs up, and then click back on the chats. Oh my God, you guys, this is insane what's going on right now. And it took me hours today to get it all ready, but I am so excited. So let's take a moment to see who's in the chat. And I might have to turn down my lights a little bit because they're a little bit bright. Hello, Cole. How's it going? Hello, Archangel. Hello, Diana. Hello, Darcy. Hello, Wendy, one of our moderators. Thank you for being here. Who else is in here? Hello, Christina Maria, our second moderator. Thank you for being in here. Hello, KB. Hello, Valerie. Hello, Peter. Thank you. Thank you. Hey, Dawn. Hey, Sanders. Hey, Lindsay. Hey, Mel. All right. This is some crazy-ish. Let me go fix that light real quick. I feel like Casper the ghost over here. Okay, hopefully that's better. Yeah, that's a little bit better. Okay. There we go. So, this is powerful, you guys. This is powerful stuff. Before we get into it, because I actually did, I always take notes. I always have these notes. Hey, Erica, and today's no exception, but it took me hours to get ready. It didn't feel like something I had to do. I just started doing it, and I did it for that long. It just kept going and going and going and going, and it never freaking stopped. So what I'm going to say is that these next 2 days, but even going into the full moon on Tuesday, I don't know. Hey, Rebecca, our third moderator in the house. So even going into next week, Tuesday is a full moon. So remember, while I'm talking about all of these things, hey, Angelica, that are going on, remember that the moon is waxing. It's getting bigger and bigger in the sky. It's going to be in its waxing gibbous phase, which is a phase where we make any adjustments we need to make, but then we commit. That's a very powerful message. Hey, Eric, during this time and why we're doing what we're doing. Okay. It's growing, waxing into a full moon in Libra on Tuesday, where we will be finding that or looking for that balance or creating that balance. So we'll see if it worked, kind of a thing. So let me pull up my notes. Are you guys ready? First, before I go into it, what are you guys feeling when it comes to the energy? What are you guys feeling right now? I'm curious. Hi, Mary. Welcome in. The sky has been clear. Ooh, that's really cool. Yeah, because of like all the less pollution, for sure. For sure. So I've been feeling this intense energy. Hello, Guerra. This intense energy, I was telling Jason about it, which hopefully he'll come into the chat soon, but I've been feeling this intense energy and this sort of like an antsiness, but an urgency. I feel an urgency. I've also been feeling positive, like Maxi Man. I've been feeling really, really positive. And I am really excited about what's coming. Let me just put this in your perspective real quick so we can collectively align with, because we're going to talk about parts of this image. This is Metatron's cube. We're going to talk about sacred geometry today as well, because as you can see, I titled this portal the Dodecahedron Portal, and you guys are probably like, what does that even mean? But we'll talk about it. Okay, for those of you that are new, because I see a lot of new people, I want to like introduce myself and tell you everything about like this channel. So my name is Jai Gobind. And I've started this channel, I don't know, like a couple of years ago. I've had the channel for a long time, but it wasn't until this past year or so that I really, I moved everything I used to do from Periscope over to here. And this is, and recently in the last like maybe 6 months, I've gotten into astrology. And you're going to be like, how did she just get into astrology? And she's like going through all this crazy astrology. So I don't know. My theory is that I am remembering all the information. I've known all this. We know all this. It's just there's a moment where it's like it cracks, like the egg cracks, right? And the light just goes, it like shines out. And then we perceive that information in different ways. For me, I started perceiving it through an intense desire to learn more about astrology. And so here we are. So this is that's the little introduction to the channel. And so now when these powerful moments in time come to us, I feel the intensity of them, and I feel this powerful channel opening up for me to give you the information from my perspective. But so many people are doing this at the same time. So many light workers, so many astrologers, so many psychics, so many intuitives all over the world. We're all saying the same thing. And that's what's blowing my mind right now. We're all saying the same thing. I'm a major Gemini energy in my chart. I have 5 or 6 placements in Gemini, all in the 12th house. So my connection to communication and speaking is all through the 12th house of the subconscious mind. So I can tap in really easily, and then just like pull it through and just like whoop, channel that through to you guys through my voice. Now I do have a newsletter that you guys can sign up for. Every week I send out a moon magic report where I tell you where the moon is in the sky, what sign it's in, what aspects it's making, and how that affects our emotions. There's a link for that in the description. I also just finished doing a webinar, a spring special webinar for the next 3 months, the astrology of the next 3 months, and how that's going to be affecting you based on your sun sign and your rising sign. The next 3 months are like amazing, powerful, more changes coming. You ain't seen nothing yet. So if you didn't get a chance to watch that webinar live, it is now available to purchase as a replay for just $10. So you can purchase the replay. Click the link in the description, and then you'll have the webinar, and I'll actually email you the link, but you'll get access to it through PayPal. I also do mini readings on Friday night. So tomorrow night, I'm going to be doing mini readings here on the channel. If you want to sign up, that's just $25 sent to my PayPal account. Again, the link is in the description of this video. And you can choose from me looking at your natal chart. You can choose from me looking at the transits now and affecting your chart. And you can also choose a tarot or oracle reading as well. And when you do sign up for my newsletter, you get my free moon astrology guide. And that's a PDF file that you can download. I also have online courses. The course that I have right now available on my website is Woman and the Moon. So if you're interested in connecting deeper into the sacred divine feminine, the phases of the moon, the cycles of the moon, and what that means for you as a woman, as the embodiment of the sacred divine feminine, check out that course. And also, if you want to book a personal astrology or tarot reading with me, you can do that on my website as well. So we are now going to officially transition into the content of this video. And I want to thank my moderators that are in here, Christina, Maria, Wendy, and Rebecca, who will be sort of helping out in the chat if you guys have any questions and stuff. Whoo, you didn't miss nothing, Janice, because we're just getting started. The webinar was like, yeah, mind-blowing. I know. This is going to be even better. I'm just kidding. This is going to be just as powerful as the webinar. So here we go. If you feel like something big is happening, I'm here to tell you that something big is happening, okay? If you've been feeling this energy building up, I'm here to tell you that you're correct. There is a big climax moment. There's a portal opening up in the sky right now. Humanity is being asked to pay attention, to be still, and to listen to the call of the wild, to listen to the call of Pachamama, which is a Quechua word for Mother Earth. The planet is alive. This is something that is known by astrologers, light workers, starseeds, quantum scientists, astronomers, and people that study these things. But mainstream culture and those in power deny this fact, right? They've been denying it for a long time, acting as if the earth is an inanimate object that we can control, that we can mold, and that we can use as we like. But if you stop and listen, you can hear. You can feel the answers. That is what Mother Earth is calling us to do with the situation that we are in right now. To stop and to listen. Listen to what? Listen to her. Listen to her side of the story. Listen to her wisdom. Listen to her magic. And listen to her soul. And as we listen to her soul, we feel the alignment of our soul to the universe and the connection between all that is. And we feel the heightened activity of the Earth's magnetic field that is going on right now as we speak. So about 12,000 years ago, there was a cataclysm on the Earth, an event that completely transformed the Earth's topography, the climate, and humans. Now, because of this cataclysm, the Earth tilted on its axis, and precession began. Precession is a term used to describe the changes of the seasons and the new perspective of a changing sky to the people of Earth. The time before this cataclysm is called Zeptepi. It's in ancient scriptures, okay? It was the golden age of the planet, a time where the civilizations of Atlantis and Lemuria were flourishing. The cataclysm ended the world as we knew it. Continents shifted, water rose, and many areas flooded, including many people dying. We've heard of these stories, right? It was the biggest traumatic moment that the Earth had experienced. Those that were left, which I don't even know how people survived that, but I guess people survived. Those left did everything that they could to make sense of what happened, to rebuild their civilizations. And when they looked up to the sky, they noticed that the stars were now moving, which they hadn't before. Because when the Earth was at a vertical axis, it was the same sky all the time. The same stars in the same positions all the time. But when the Earth tilted, precession began, and the stars started to move. The sky started to move. It's as if a clock started ticking with a different tune. Now, our fascination with the sky began as after this cataclysm. And it was because of this huge shift in the sky. It was disorienting for the people who had studied the sky for many years. It was like, what is going on, right? So along with the seasons, the spring, the summer, the fall, and the winter, came the astrological ages, marked by the movement and the new journey of the Earth, the Sun, and the solar system across this line called the ecliptic, which literally follows the 12 constellations of the zodiac. I'm going to read to you from this book called Awakening the Planetary Mind, that explains what precession is so you can get a better idea, okay? Precession of the equinoxes. Precession occurs because our axis is tilted, not vertical, as it travels around the sun. From our vantage point on Earth, as we orbit the sun eclipses the stars behind itself, which is why the circle around the sun is called the ecliptic. Precession occurs because as Earth orbits the sun, it turns on its axis tilted at an angle of about 23.5 degrees from the true vertical, and it also wobbles. This results in a 26,000 year-long funnel motion that causes Earth's axis to trace an imaginary circle in the stars around the north and the south poles. If Earth's axis were vertical, the stars about the poles would circle eternally in the same places. Instead, the polar stars move like huge serpents. And on today's horizon, the locations of the stars move about 1 degree every 72 years. Precession is usually observed by tracking the sun rising in specific zodiacal constellations at the spring equinox, the vernal point on the ecliptic. For example, during the spring equinox, 10,800 to 8,640 years ago, the vernal point was in Cancer, the age of Cancer, when the sun rose in Cancer in the spring. In the year 2000, and on the first day of spring, the sun rose in over the lapping edges of the Pisces and Aquarius constellations. So people talk of the coming age of Aquarius. These astrological ages last about 2,160 years each. This is how long it takes for us to travel through one constellation based on the information that I just read to you. So when precession began, the first constellation that we traveled across was the constellation of Leo. Or in more specific terms, the Leo constellation was rising at the new vernal point on the Giza Plateau, which is in Egypt, which, yes, it's important. Egypt is important. This means that the first astrological age was the age of Leo. And since then, we have traveled through the constellation of Cancer, which was the age of Cancer, the constellation of Gemini, which was the age of Gemini, the constellation of Taurus, which was the age of Taurus, the constellation of Aries, which was the age of Aries, the constellation of Pisces, which is the age of Pisces, and now we're entering and passing through the constellation of Aquarius, which is the age of Aquarius. Now, during these ages, humanity has reflected what was going on in the sky. You know how they talk about astrology and they say, as above, so below? Here's the example. During the age of Leo, divine kingship began. Leo is the lion. He is the king. During the age of Cancer, while we were transiting the constellation of Cancer, we worship the goddess. What does Cancer rule? The moon, the goddess, the feminine. During the age of Gemini, when we were transiting the Gemini constellation, we became obsessed with time and watching the seasons and mapping out the sky. What is Gemini? Gemini is information, it's communication, it's society. During the age of Taurus, when we were transiting the Taurus constellation, we began to build cities. What does Taurus mean? It's the material world. It's the building of things. It's making them in the 3D, making them physical. During the age of Aries, we began to fight over those cities. What is Aries? Ruled by Mars, the god of war. During the age of Pisces, which is the age that we're transitioning out of, we've been trying to find ways to handle the emotional implications of city cultures. So here we find ourselves entering the age of Aquarius, the age of humanity, the age of innovation, based on the belief that we are all connected, that we are all important, that Earth matters. The age where our Kundalini will rise, right? Aquarius, ruled by Uranus, the planet of electricity. And that we will begin to discover that in fact, God and me and God are one. That the divine lies within us and not outside of us. The age of Pisces has been ruled by the Catholic Church. And the Catholic Church, their whole basis of the Catholic Church is God is up there in heaven outside of us, right? And if we don't behave in certain ways, if we sin, we won't go to heaven. But we're going to realize in the age of Aquarius that God and me and God are one. Divinity is within you, within each and every one of us. Here's something cool. We are also at the exact halfway point between the age of Leo and the age of Virgo. Leo and Virgo are next to each other, right? If you think about the order of the zodiac, right? Normally you think Aries is the first sign. So we go Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, and then Pisces. But we didn't start with Aries, did we? No. We started with Leo, and the way that it's like going backwards through the zodiac. So instead of going from Leo to Virgo, it's going from Leo to Cancer, to Gemini, to Taurus, to Aries, or to, see, now I got confused. Leo, right? To Cancer, to Gemini, then Taurus, then Aries, then Pisces, and now Aquarius, which means that this is the halfway point. 12,000 years ago was halfway between Leo and Aquarius. We're at the opposition. We're at the opposition right now. Aquarius is the duality of Leo. The opposition is like a full moon moment where something is coming to a completion. And this completion has everything to do with what is going on in the sky right now, tomorrow and the next day, and basically 2020 altogether. A year of great change, the year of death to everything that we knew as normal, the old structures, the old order of the world, and the beginning of a new way of being and relating to each other. In my spring webinar, I talked about the fact that the nodes are also changing into Gemini and Sagittarius in May. So please go watch that video. If you haven't yet, you can purchase the replay now for just $10, like I mentioned. And the link is in the description of the video, because I detail the astrology of the next 3 months and how it's going to be affecting you. And it's massively important. So what is happening in the sky in the next few days that makes this moment so significant? And how does that tie into everything I just told you? And why did I share all that information with you? Well, Venus is moving into Gemini tomorrow. And she's aligning, conjuncting, however you want to say it, the Pleiades star system, getting close to their brightest star called Alcyone. We also have the moon in Leo, right? Conjuncting the star called Regulus, the lion in the sky. And we have the Jupiter-Pluto conjunction happening as well. All of these astronomical events are creating a portal with dodecahedron energies that will help us align with and activate the 5th dimension. So what are we going to do now is decipher the meaning of each of these events and our role during this activation. So we're going to start with Venus in Gemini. I'm just going to split it into little sections and then bring it all together to a conclusion at the end, okay? Alexa says, yes! You guys doing good so far? So bear with me. Here we go. Diving deep. Venus, it's at its last degrees of Taurus. Tomorrow, it's going to move into Gemini. Venus in Taurus has invited us to focus on grounding, on the pleasures of life, on enjoying being in the present moment. She also conjuncted with planet Sedna, which I'm going to talk about what that means in a minute. She represents the Earth. Taking care of ourselves and relaxing is what Venus has been asking us to do. And we are nowhere, we don't have to go anywhere, but stay here at home right now. And you guys all know why. At its last degrees, however, this is a call out to humanity. Have you taken care of yourself? Are you ready for springing back into action? Are you ready for things to start moving again? Venus in Gemini is about connecting with others in an intellectual way. It is the lighthearted energy. It's very sociable. It's very fun, but it moves from one thing to another quickly. It's very active. It's not a fixed sign like Taurus. It's a mutable sign. It's flexible. As Venus moves into Gemini on Friday, she will conjunct the Pleiades star system, getting 0.10 degrees close to the brightest star called Alcyone. Now, this is from the perspective of Earth, so you'll actually be able to see it in the sky if your view is not obstructed. You'll see Venus, then Alcyone, and the 7 star sisters of the Pleiades. Now, the Pleiades star system is a constellation containing 7 stars. These stars are often referred to as the 7 star sisters. And there's a lot of different cultures that use this information and have created ceremonies and, special significance and activations based on those stars. A lot of information comes from the Pleiades and has come from the Pleiades for years and years and years. The Pleiades are beings that have experienced the ascension of their own planets and are now overseeing the ascension of the Earth. Through many channeled books, like the Pleiadean Agenda and Bringers of the Dawn. If you have not read those books, read those books. The Pleiadean Agenda by Barbara Hanclow and Briggers of the Dawn by Barbara Marciniak. You can receive information about these teachings for our Earth from these books. But when we look at the system of the 9 dimensions here on Earth, we can understand more clearly what their role is the Pleiades. And we're going to go over that in a moment. But for now, just know that this transit, Venus and the Pleiades, and this alignment is a connection to Earth's ascension, a type of antenna. It's an antenna that helps us align with our true purpose as a human race. Think of an antenna, a spiraling antenna. All right, now the Moon and Regulus. The Moon in Leo will be conjuncting the star Regulus, another astronomical event that you will be able to see in the sky on Saturday when you look up at the moon. Regulus will be just to the right side of the moon. Now, Regulus is one of the stars in the Leo constellation. It is actually the heart of the lion, because the Leo constellation makes the shape of a lion. The place where we find our true purpose is our heart. And by connecting to this place, we expand this energy. The significance of this, I'm going to talk about when we talk about the 5th dimension. For now, you just need to remember that the moon is asking us to connect to our heart chakra, to the energy of compassion and love. Okay? So far, we've got the connection to the Earth's ascension by way of the Venus-Pleiades conjunction and the connection to our heart center by way of the Moon and Regulus. The Jupiter-Pluto conjunction. What I want to do now is actually go over the chart of the Jupiter-Pluto conjunction, because I wanted to do this. This one I want to do in detail. So give me a second while I find it. And thank you guys. I'm not paying attention to the chat too much because I'll get lost and we'll be here forever. But let me connect my iPad. And thank you guys for being here. Make sure you X out of the chat. Give the video a thumbs up. And then come back in. It'll help circulate the video. Okay. So what I'm doing right now is pulling up the chart. So we can talk about the chart in detail, okay? Here we go. So what's the significance of the Jupiter-Pluto conjunction? Now, Jupiter is the planet of expansion, optimism, abundance, and good luck. Jupiter is where we can attract abundance and luck, where we are the least cautious, where we want to gain knowledge, and where we can benefit from the most. Here's the Jupiter-Pluto conjunction, by the way. They're conjuncting at exactly 24 degrees of Capricorn on April 4th. Jupiter expands everything it touches, whether good or bad. This is why this conjunction is so paramount in determining the rest of 2020. Pluto is the planet of death, change, and transformation. Pluto is where we want power, where we take charge or feel powerless. Those are the two extremes. Where we experience transformation and profound change. In mythology, Pluto is the god of the underworld. He is the great transformer. He destroys the old to make space for the new. And in Capricorn, he is destroying the old structures at the collective level, like governments, economic systems, countries, etc. I don't need to give you current day examples for you to see that's already happening. In its wake, Pluto leaves an opportunity for change, that more often than not turns out to be positive. You may go in directions never before considered and discover your inner strengths and hidden talents. However, once Plutonian power is unleashed, there is no going back. Its effects are irreversible. And that is where we are now. There's no going back. There's no going back. Let me say that one more time. There's no going back. Its effects are irreversible. So it's best to understand what is going on so that we can be prepared to change, transform, and move with it, to be flexible with it. If Jupiter expands everything it touches, can you imagine what these conjunctions are going to bring? Because this is just phase 1 of this conjunction, you guys. This conjunction is going to happen 3 times total this year. Once on Saturday, once in June, June 30th, at the end of June, and then a 3rd time in November. This is a continuation of the Saturn-Pluto conjunction of January 2020. So I guess you could say the saga continues. The first conjunction, each phase of the conjunctions. By the way, I just put out a video today that is all about the Jupiter-Pluto conjunction phase 1. So it's this chart, that phase 1 is based off of this chart that we're looking at right now. The first conjunction will begin a process of breaking down, an expansion of Pluto's powers to destroy, change, and transform. It will initiate a journey through the underworld because Jupiter rules travel and Pluto the underworld. So we will be journeying through the underworld. And it will expand what we've already seen so far, the destruction of world structures, such as economic, governmental, corporations, etc., and the world systems at large. So this is no simple matter, okay? I mean, look at us. We are not in the same world that we were since the beginning of the year. Everything is different and affecting the entire world. So between now and June, expect to see more of these things showing up. Now, later on in the year, we're going to talk about the second phase of this conjunction and then the third. But right now, I want to show you the different things that are going on. So we talked about Venus moving into Gemini, right? This is the beginning of intellectually stimulating relationships. Venus is going to finish its transit through Gemini on June 25th. And it's actually going to go retrograde on May 13th. So this is a long Venus transit because of the retrograde. But at this point, she's planting the theme for the next 3 months, which is connecting with others at an intellectual level, needing everyone to be on the same page. The desire for people to see the bigger picture of what is going on and to be able to talk about it and communicate with each other. This is about finding solutions together. On this day, the moon, which will be in Virgo, is going to square Venus. There's a challenge here to not just communicate, but to make sure that when you are communicating with people, that it doesn't bring you down, that it actually lifts you up and also grounds you at the same time. The moon in Virgo wants to clean up. It wants to clear the space. It wants to analyze. And Venus in Gemini gets along well with Virgo. But I think Gemini can be very out there sometimes. And Virgo can help ground that energy. Chiron, who is the wounded healer, is going to be T-squaring the nodes, which are at 2 degrees of Cancer and Capricorn. Remember, the nodes are going to switch into Gemini and Sagittarius very, very soon. So just like we saw during the new moon in Aries, Chiron is still squaring the nodes here. And this is a call to heal at a massive soul level, planetary level. We're talking the grid of the planet, the energetic grid of the planet, the web that connects it all together. You're talking about the ley lines? Yeah, this is it. This is a call to activate the warrior within, to align with your higher self, your identity that connects you to the essence of the sacred warrior, which is Chiron. On this same day, Mercury and Venus will be conjunct. This is a dreamy conversation about what could be, a connection to the subconscious mind. This is about what's hidden, conversations about the divine, about what Pluto is bringing up. What is Pluto bringing up? He stirs things up from the underworld, right? This is being able to understand things at a deep level and being able to actually talk about them. Gemini. This is in essence a prophetic dream of the future. Mars and Saturn, who have just moved into both Aquarius and have just conjuncted in Aquarius, will be squaring Uranus in Taurus, who rules the sign of Aquarius. This is an electrical charge or a pulse that shakes the whole thing up or wakes the whole thing up, basically putting it into action. We're also going to see a grand trine in the sky. Here it is, between Uranus, the south node, the moon. There it is, grand trine. The moon in Virgo, right here, trines Uranus in Taurus. Uranus in Taurus trines the south node. And the south node again trines the moon. That's the connection point. While the moon directs all of that energy towards the north node, opening the portal, which is the finger of God. Okay? If you follow the lines, they'll take you somewhere. Follow the clues, they'll take you somewhere. 2 quincunxes from these two, the moon and the north node, right to the Jupiter-Pluto conjunction on that day. What is this formation called? It's called the finger of God. This is also a grand trine on Earth that activated this energy, and grand trines in Earth bring abundance. Now, when we think of the moon in Virgo, Virgo is the sign of the Virgin. Let me show you this like this. Okay, now you know that's where the finger of God is, right? Virgo is the sign of the Virgin, bringing heaven to earth, which is Uranus and Taurus, over here. Creating a new world. Connecting to the south node in Capricorn, understanding that what's done is done. We cannot live without our hearts. We cannot live without love. And so as the moon, right here, sextiles the north node, and then they both conjunct or quincunx the Saturn-Pluto conjunction. Just want to make sure you guys are following on the screen. Opening up the portal for sacred beings to come through. Wait, what? The Pleiades? Yeah, those are the sacred beings that are going to come through. That's the communication that's coming through. Okay, because this is bringing Christ consciousness into the 3D. The finger of God with Mercury and Neptune prophesying in Pisces, which, by the way, is what Jesus was. He was a Pisces. That's the sign of compassion, understanding, love, and the divine. They hold the space for all of it. The Pleiades are going to speak through on this day. The goddess of love connecting with the Pleiades, communication, Gemini. They're going to talk to us. They're going to talk to us about the coming times, and what all have to do is help create the sacred space for all of this to come through. This yod, that's how you spell it. This yod is essentially saying that the way towards destiny is to be present in our everyday lives and to take action towards building new innovative solutions. Mars in Aquarius is driving this change, and we must allow it to inspire us. So what we have here is an activation of the direction that humanity is being asked to go, and a continuation of the breaking down of what's being asked to fall. Pluto is the tower, and the tower is falling, but the phoenix is rising. That is what these energies are showing us for the next 3 months. Okay. We're going to continue on with our discussion. Let me go back to me over here. So far, we've basically covered. If you're going to be obnoxious in the chat, we're just going to block you, okay? Just want to let you know. So what we've covered so far is Venus entering Gemini and aligning with the Pleiades and what that means. The Moon conjuncting Regulus, aligning with the Leo constellation, what that means. Jupiter and Pluto conjuncting and what that means. So now what I'm going to talk about is planet Sedna. Let me take a little break here. You guys doing all right? You follow me? You follow? Okay. So, I want to bring in another concept here that ties into what I talked about at the beginning regarding the cataclysm, and that happened basically 12,000 years ago. Erica. Okay, I want to bring in another concept here. In 2003, the planet Sedna was discovered. When planets are named, thank you, Darcy, for that donation. When planets are named, they're usually given mythical names based on Greek mythology. However, Sedna was the first planet to be named after the Inuit cultures, mythical goddess of the sea named Sedna. Don't worry about it, Wendy. It's not a big deal. I just looked over and I was like, I don't really think about that right now. All right. So in 2003, basically they discovered Sedna. Sedna's story has many different versions, and she's the goddess of the sea to the Inuit. The Inuit they live in the North Pole, right? Like Alaska, that area. Sedna's story has different versions, but the gist of the story is that her father wanted to marry her off, but she refused. One version tells the story of the father forcing her to get married and then sending her off, later to find out that her husband kills her and drops her into the ocean. Another version says that her own father threw her into the ocean. Regardless of the myth, the main point is this. Sedna, because she's the goddess of the ocean, the deepest, darkest reaches of the ocean, the underworld to the Inuit. She represents this part to all of us as well now, because the planet that was discovered in 2003 was given the name Sedna. And every time that planets are named, the mythical story gives us the meaning and the symbolism of how that planet is affecting us in that moment. It happened with, when Uranus was discovered, a lot of technological advances were made. When Pluto was discovered, there was a lot of wars and like darkness, things like that. When Neptune was discovered, this was like, television, like, and TV and things like that. Artist, all of that was exploding. So now we discover Sedna, right? Now let's talk about what the actual planet is and does. The planet Sedna has a 12,000 year orbit around the sun. The last time she was close to the Earth was 12,000 years ago during the cataclysm. The planet Sedna also represents Mother Earth, and she is in the sign of Taurus, an Earth-ruled sign. If you link the mythical story to the story that we have seen unfolding on Earth up to this point, right? From the beginning of the age of Leo to this point right now, we see this. This is the theme. This is the story, right? The father, the masculine, patriarchal side of humanity has pushed the feminine so far away that it has become lost in the rational mind. The father, the archetype of the father is the rational mind, and the archetype of the mother is the intuitive mind. With the mother archetype, we are connected to our sacred divine feminine, but the father has pushed it away. The masculine, the patriarch, has pushed it away. And this isn't men versus women. This is the energy of patriarchy, the energy of masculinity pushing away the feminine. Sedna is now getting closer to Earth again. And with her return From the darkest and coldest reaches of the universe, the ocean, remember the Sedna myth? She brings forth the memory of ancient trauma that we must collectively face. She brings forth the cataclysm. We must face our fear of the end of the world. We must face our fear that we will die. We must face our own death. And that is why what's going on right now in the world is here to make us truly reflect, to stop and listen to her, to Mother Earth. 2020, like I said, starting with the Saturn-Pluto conjunction, and now continuing with the Pluto-Jupiter conjunction, and then 2 more times after this, is basically the theme of death. The death of the old and the birth of the new world. In every direction that you look, the same story is being told. The sacred divine feminine holds the answer to our future, our intuition, our love, our hearts, our connection, our collaboration. These things hold the answers for humanity. So now, why did I title this video or this portal the Dodecahedron Portal? What does sacred geometry have to do with this? Do you guys know what the 5 Platonic solids are? She does, Alexa. She does. So we're going to talk about the Earth's ascension and the dodecahedron portal. I'm going to read to you from this other book, The Ancient Secret of the Flower of Life by Drunvalo Melchizedek. If you haven't seen the Flower of Life, this is what the Flower of Life looks like. Okay? That's the flower of life. Within the flower of life, now this extends infinitely, actually creates a sphere, but within this image, you find all of the Platonic solids. When you study sacred geometry, you will understand. If you want to know more about sacred geometry, this is the book that I recommend you get. Okay? Here we go, because I can't really put this in my own words. The Platonic solids and the elements. The 6 shapes were considered by the ancient alchemists and great souls like Pythagoras, the father of Greece, to have had an element aspect to them. Okay? Let me see if this show you this picture here. Oh, cool. So the tetrahedron is the fire element. The hexahedron, okay, this is the hexahedron. This is the tetrahedron. This is the hexahedron, is the earth element. The sphere, see if I can read it backwards. The sphere in the middle is the void, right? Down below here, you have the octahedron, which is the air element, right? The air element. Over here on this side, you have, this is the dodecahedron. It represents ether or prana. Oh my God, this is so hard to do. Okay, here we go. There, dodecahedron. And then below that, you have the icosahedron, which represents water. So there's 3 columns here. On the left, you have the male column, the tetrahedron and the hexahedron. In the middle, you have the child. And then on the right side, you have the dodecahedron and the icosahedron, which represent the female or the feminine. Okay? Now, you have an image of what I'm talking about, okay? So, The 5 Platonic solids, in this case, in this book, he's talking about including the sphere, the void, okay? So, the tetrahedron was considered fire, the cube was earth, the octahedron was air, the icosahedron was water, and the dodecahedron was ether. Ether, prana, and tachyon energy are the same thing. They extend everywhere and are accessible at any point in space-time dimension. This is the great secret of zero-point technology. And the sphere is voidness. These 6 elements are the building blocks of the universe. They create the qualities of the universe. In alchemy, they usually talk only about fire, earth, air, and water. They seldom discuss ether or prana because it's too sacred. So what's ether and prana? The dodecahedron. Let's continue. In the Pythagorean school, if you uttered the word dodecahedron outside the school, they would kill you on the spot. That was how sacred the shape was. They wouldn't even discuss it. 200 years later, when Plato was alive, he would discuss it, but only very carefully. Why? Listen up, you guys. Because the dodecahedron is near the outer edge in your energy field, and it is the highest form of consciousness. Did you hear what I just said? The dodecahedron is near the outer edge of your energy field and is the highest form of consciousness. When you get to the 55-foot limit of your energy field, it's a sphere. But the very next shape inside the sphere is the dodecahedron. Actually, the dodecahedron-icosahedral relationship. In addition, we live in a big dodecahedron that contains the universe. When your mind reaches out to the end of space, and there is an end, there's a dodecahedron enclosed in a sphere. Okay? I can say this because the human body is a hologram of the universe and contains the same principles. The 12 constellations of the zodiac fit inside it. The dodecahedron is the terminating point of geometries, and it's very important. On a microscopic level, the dodecahedron and the icosahedron are the relational parameters of the DNA, the blueprint of all life. You can relate, remember the 3 columns I just showed you, to the tree of life and to the 3 primary energies of the universe: male, female, and child in the center. Or proton, electron, neutron, right? Let me see what else I want to say about this. In terms of Earth's consciousness, this is important, okay? This is why this is the dodecahedron portal that is opening, okay? In terms of Earth's consciousness, now we're talking about the planet Earth. The right column is missing. Remember, the right column was the feminine. What did I just say about the Sedna, planet Sedna, and the story of the father and the feminine? The masculine has pushed away the feminine, right? In terms of Earth's consciousness, the right column is the missing component. We have created the male, the left side of the Earth's consciousness, and what we're doing now is completing the female component for the wholeness and balance. The reason planet Sedna is coming back close to Earth 12,000 years later at exactly the halfway point between the age of Leo and the age of Aquarius is because of this. It's time. It's time. Again, or continuing. The right side, right? Remember the dodecahedron and the icosahedron, the sacred divine feminine, the banner of the feminine, right? Is also associated with Christ or unity consciousness. Now, what is that? That's the heart center. That's the moon. connected to Regulus, the star Regulus, connecting us, asking us to connect to our heart center. The dodecahedron is the basic form of the Christ consciousness around the earth. The two shapes in the right column, the dodecahedron and the icosahedron, are what are called duals of each other. Meaning, if you connect the centers of the faces of a dodecahedron with straight lines, you get an icosahedron. And if you connect the centers of an icosahedron, you again get a dodecahedron. Which means air and water elements. Air and water. Okay. Continuing on. Basically, the dodecahedron is the energetic field of the planet that is activating. This is the Earth's grid. Yes, unity consciousness that we are going to be activating during the meditation. So, how does the dodecahedron relate? So, how does all this relate to the fifth dimension? We're getting there. We're getting there. Now we're going to tie in the Pleiades, the regular star conjunctions with Venus and the Moon to all of this, okay? With Venus moving into Gemini, conjuncting the Pleiades star system, specifically their brightest star called Alcyone, we're being blasted with Pleiadian knowledge and messages and information. That is why Venus Pleiades conjunction is the beginning of this portal opening. Because the fifth dimension is all about the heart center, when the moon conjuncts Regulus, which is the heart of the lion in the sky, our hearts will open, another portal, and we will be ready for the final stage of the portal, which is the Pluto-Jupiter conjunction. I want to read you something else about the fifth dimension before I continue. From the book Alchemy of Nine Dimensions by Barbara Hanclough. The fifth dimension is the realm of light that centers in the human heart and is resonant with Earth's biological creatures and plants. For humans, the light's vibrational frequency is called samadhi, the realizable human experience of communion with the divine. According to the Pleiades, the keepers of the fifth dimension, this is the Pleiades, that's the connection between the Pleiades and the fifth dimension. They are the keepers of the fifth dimension. And there is a star system that is located in the Taurus constellation, right? We talked about that a little bit. The Pleiadians have been the ancestors of many indigenous clans on Earth for at least 40,000 years, as pointed out by several prehistorians. The description of this dimension by the Pleiades, as well as its connection with Earth, is mind-boggling. They say a great spiral, remember I told you to think about a great spiral antenna from us through Venus through the Pleiades. A great spiral of stellar light from the Pleiades reaches our sun, and our sun is the eighth of the large stars of the Pleiades. The generator of this spiral is Alcyone, the central star of the Pleiades from Earth's point of view. Astronomically, this seems bizarre, yet a few astronomers and early Greeks describe the same spiralic geometry of light between the Pleiades and the sun. My Mayan medicine brother, Humbatzman, has written about this system since it is the basis of the long count in the Mayan calendar. Somehow, the Pleiades have a great impact on Earth via this system, as if they slide into our world through a nautilus spiral when significant nows arrive, such as when happened at the end of the Mayan calendar in 2020, and such as is happening now with Venus conjunct the Pleiades. According to Satya, in the Pleiadian agenda, our solar system is being awakened by a band of light, the photon band, which is transmuting Earth's atmosphere. At the time, she's talking about the end of the Mayan calendar in 2012, Earth is awakening. It has been awakening since then, you guys. The Pleiadians are tuning into our solar system and updating us with the latest news from Alcyone. It is as if the mysterious stellar spiral is a communication system. Gemini. Venus in Gemini. Okay, that's what I wanted to tell you about the fifth dimension before I continue. So because the fifth dimension is all about the heart center, right? The light. When the moon conjuncts Regulus, which is the heart of the lion in the sky, our hearts will open and we will be ready for the final stage of the portal, the Pluto-Jupiter conjunction. As the Pluto-Jupiter conjunction happens, another portal will open and we will all be meditating together at that time, helping the crown chakra of the earth, the dodecahedron energetic field and grid of the earth to activate. Basically, earth needs our help and we're together ascending to the fifth dimension, opening our hearts, healing the world, and changing the trajectory or the course of history on the planet. We're in essence guiding humanity into the age of Aquarius. Remember the duality between the age of Leo and the age of Aquarius, how we started with the age of Leo and now we're at the halfway point, the opposition in the age of Aquarius? Well, here's the coolest part. As our hearts open and we activate the fifth dimension, the Leo and Regulus connection and the Venus Pleiades connection, we are blasted to the other polarity, to the other end of the spectrum, Aquarius. And we finally begin to see the visions of what the future can look like, realizing that it is up to us to make the change. This global meditation is us making that change. So, I'm gonna say one more thing. Here's what I want to say in conclusion to all of this. This is not a time to be afraid, you guys. This is a time to get to work. As light workers, as starseeds, as one of the waves of volunteers, we are the ones we've been waiting for. The prophecies are coming true right before our eyes. What we need to realize is that we are the messengers. We are the message. We are the prophecy. It's up to us. And that is why on April 4th, on Saturday, there is a global meditation. I'm not the only one doing this. This is a global meditation that's going to be happening around the world. And we're going to be participating by way of this channel, but we're going to be doing it at the same exact time that everyone else in the world is going to be doing it, which is at 7:45 p.m. Pacific time, 8:45, 9:45, 10:45 Eastern. I will go live 30 minutes before that. And we will be activating the fifth dimension of the planet, the energetic field, the dodecahedron, the Earth's crown chakra. Are you guys ready? I didn't look at any comments really, except that one that I just happened to see as I went by. That's it, you guys. I mean, that's not it. You know what I mean? Plus, on top of all of that, you guys, the moon is in the gibbous phase. It's almost full. It's going to be full next Tuesday. So that's expansive energy. It's not a coincidence that this is all happening right now. It's all connected. And it is pointing us all in this direction. I'm really excited about it. You should be too. Put it on your calendars. Saturday night. Dun, dun, dun. That was a lot. I just went through a shitload of information. I can't wait either. Thank you for hanging in there with me as I shared that. I worked on that all day. And I am really, really excited. It's amazing. Yeah, me too. Yes, we'll change the Schumann resonance. There you go. You're welcome, Darcy. books. I can just tell you right now what they are and you can write them down. So one of the books is Alchemy of Nine Dimensions by Barbara Handclough. You can take a snapshot of it if you want. That's what it looks like. The other one is The Ancient Secret of the Flower of Life by Jumbalu Melchizedek. Take a snapshot of that. The next one you can take a snapshot of is Awakening the Planetary Mind, another book by Barbara Handclough. This one is if you want to know about the Aquarian age. And there's one more book that I actually did use for my research here. And it is a book called The Stars, the definitive visual guide to the cosmos. This book is actually really cool because it shows you the constellations. Here's the Pisces constellation. It describes like where it is in the sky and where you can see it from the Earth, and all the different stars that it's composed of. This is a really, really cool book. I just got this one. It's helping me to create a visual map in my mind of astronomy, which is it's almost like I'm remembering back to lifetimes I've had when I used to be one of those people looking up at the stars and mapping the sky. Yeah, thank you. Thank you to all the moderators that were in here, you guys. I really appreciate your presence. Please subscribe to the channel if you're new. Sign up for the newsletter. Join us on Saturday for the Jupiter Pluto portal activation. And also, you can still purchase the webinar that I did. It's a $10 replay video that I emailed to you. And you just pay through PayPal. The link is actually in the description of the video. How did I relate all of it? My brain did it. I connect the dots. That's my job, to connect the dots, to put it all together. It is a whole new world. Me too. Thank you, Wendy. Thanks, Rebecca. Yeah, there was a lot of information. There was a lot of information. All right, you guys, I'm going to let you go. And I'm going to be live tomorrow, too, for the mini readings, which is, tomorrow is when Venus goes into Gemini. So I think maybe if you want a transit reading, that would be awesome. But if anyone wants any kind of reading or tarot, astrology, either one, definitely sign up. And you can get on the list now. You don't have to wait till tomorrow to sign up. And I'm really excited about that tomorrow as well, because it's a powerful day too. So thank you, everyone. I'm going to leave you right here. Share this video out, you guys. Share it out on social media. Share it out on your Facebook. Share it out on your, let people know on Instagram. Just send it out to your friends, text it out, Messenger, everything, so we can get the word out, because we really need the most people that can join us for the meditation. You're welcome, Lindsay. I love you guys, and I will see you again tomorrow. Sat Nam.